So it is Monday, and I am back in the office. I was in Atlantic County, New Jersey this morning representing a client, and tomorrow I'm in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. So I'm jumping around a lot this week, but that's where the client is taking us tomorrow. So a busy week, as always, for our law firm, both in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Put out a blog article regarding the Alec Baldwin case in New Mexico. And like a lot of cases that are in the headlines, I am not licensed in New Mexico, but I always draw attention to these cases, not to embarrass anyone, but just to use them as a learning tool for our clients, both in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Now, Mr. Baldwin was indicted in New Mexico, and most of our listeners and our readers know that Pennsylvania, unlike New Jersey, does not have the indictment system, does not have the grand jury system for the most part. New Jersey, however, does have the grand jury system for the purposes of indictments. Now, an indictment is not a conviction. It is not a finding of guilt. It is simply what we refer to as a prima facie burden of proof on the prosecution to establish that it's more probable than not that a crime occurred and the person who is charged is the person who committed that crime. It is not a situation where a person has been convicted of anything, but it's a situation where the prosecution puts a case before typically 23 people, and they decide whether or not enough evidence exists for a indictment. Now, if that is the case, the matter is then sent back to court, and the prosecution moves forward at that point. If the matter is not indicted, the grand jury brings back what's called a no bill, and the matter concludes there. Well, that's what happened in the Sean Watson case. He was not indicted, and while many members of the media have found an issue with Mr. Watson, that lack of an indictment shows incredibly how weak the case was against him. And while it did settle civilly, a lot of members of the media who aren't lawyers, and even some who are, feel as though he should have some type of come to Jesus moment, if you will, and simply admit to everything. And when you're not even indicted for something, I don't really see a very strong case from a criminal prosecution standpoint. And with regards to a civil standpoint, there's a lot of reasons why a person chooses to settle a case as opposed to moving forward with the case from a monetary standpoint and also from a reputation standpoint. With that said, back to Mr. Baldwin's case. His matter will now move forward. He's been indicted on involuntary manslaughter charges. Involuntary manslaughter is the lowest form of a homicide. It is still a felony in New Mexico. Involuntary manslaughter in a place like Pennsylvania is a misdemeanor, but it's a felony of the 4th degree in New Mexico. New Jersey doesn't really break down involuntary versus voluntary manslaughter, but it still classifies that type of manslaughter, which is reckless manslaughter, as a indictable crime in New Jersey. But if you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey, the website gamboandlaw.com. As always, a tremendous resource for you and your family. All of my books, my blogs, my videos are available there. I'm going to link in the article that I wrote on Alec Baldwin. It's a great article. It explains the grand jury system. It also explains the difference between manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter versus voluntary manslaughter. So it's a good article, a lot of information. But once again, if you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey. Have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you all very soon.